So we are going to move to our next session, which is when can I find information about specific bill and keep up with what is going on? Umandisa will be introducing our next speaker.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mandisa from the PE region. I will be presenting our next speaker called Rashaad Ali from PGM, your PMG. Rashaad Ali is the Executive Director at Parliament Monitoring Group, PGM for short. Their work focuses on providing access to information on Parliament and provincial legislatures and encouraging public participation. PGM is an independent, non-partisan NGO and was established in the mid-90s. Please welcome Ali, your Rashaad Ali. Thank you.
Hi, good day, everyone. Thank you once again for this opportunity. I'm going to do an illustration of how to use our website. So I'm just going to go off video so that the website can appear on the screen, and we'll go through that. Yeah, so just very quickly, as she said, I'm from the Parliamentary Monitoring Group. As PMG, we believe that access to information is vital to citizens' participation in the democratic process. We hope that committee reports and other documents about Parliament will provide the public with insight about the national legislature and its daily activities. Importantly, our website provides a window into the performance and budgets of each government departments and public entities over which each parliamentary committee has oversight. So I'm just going to do an illustration of how to use the website and how to access the information. There is a more comprehensive document that is available that I have shared with Lucy and the team, and they will pass it on to anyone who is interested in learning more about what we do. All right, so this is the PMG website. This is the home page. I'll be taking you through various features on the website. The first feature is the committees and meetings. So this is probably the most important aspect of the website. Committees are the engine rooms of Parliament. It's where the real and actual work of Parliament. I'm sure everyone has watched parliamentary proceedings, and for the most part, people watch what happens in the plenary sittings where there's lots of debate and fighting, etc. But a lot of work actually happens in the committees of Parliament, where it's smaller groups of Parliament. So how it works is for every government department, there's an equivalent parliamentary committee that exercises oversight over that government department. So when you click on committees and meetings, your first page is, we have National Assembly committees. Then you have NCOP committees, this is of the second house. You have joint committees, you have ad hoc committees, like the ad hoc committee on section 25 to amend section 25 of the Constitution. And then we also monitor Western Cape Parliament, and you would have Western Cape Parliament committees, for example. So let me just take you to one committee just to show you. So for instance, basic education, the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education. We click on there. If you wanted to get a summary of the committee's activities, so you could just click there for 2020, and then you could scroll and you could see this is the agenda lines of what the committees discussed. So last week they discussed on the Zero Dropout campaign, before that on the reopening of schools and the National School Nutrition Program. And so you can then click on a relevant meeting of your interest. And in there, you'll find a full record of the committee meetings. So yeah, so that's the agenda, that's the date, the chair who chaired the meeting. There is a brief meeting summary at the top. And then there's a full PMG report of the meeting. So it's not a transcript, but it's a substantially detailed account of the proceedings of the committee. And then to your right, you will find the audio recording of this committee meeting. So if you wanted to have a very, very detailed verbatim relook of what was said, you can then check the audio recording. And then below that is documents, the relevant documents that were presented and handed out at the meeting. You'll get that information there. And below that would be the list of members of parliament who were present in the meeting. So that's our record of a committee. We do this for all committee meetings in parliament. There's one committee, the Joint Intelligence Committee, that's obviously closed to the public. That's the only exception, but all meetings are open to the public, and PMG has monitors who actually cover these meetings and put together these reports that we then publish and we disseminate to a wide audience. So that was a look at committees. Then the next tab is MPs. So it's just very basic. If you needed to know the list of MPs that are in Parliament, you'd be able to get that information over here. The default is on National Assembly committees, but you could also click National Council of Provinces, and you'd have a list of NCOP committees. So NA committees are 400 members. Obviously, the ANC is in the vast majority. They have 230 of the 400 members. NCOP is made up of 90 members. 54 of them are permanent delegates. So you'd only see 54 of them that will be represented on this page. You could also, we have a second website, and I'll just demonstrate. If you wanted to learn more about a particular MP, you can click on their profile, on their name. It will then take you to our second website that we have, which is called People's Assembly website, which tries, so while the PMG focuses more on Parliament as an institution and the committees of Parliament, the PA website focuses more on individual MPs and trying to connect citizens with their MPs. So basically, this is a profile of this particular MP. You can see she's a member of the National Assembly. If you want to write to her, you can click that button. You can see her committee attendance. You can see the various committees that she sits on, her appearances. Last week, 8th of October, in the Finance Committee, she participated in that meeting. Then you can scroll further. She hasn't really answered any questions or asked any written questions, rather. And then to the left are various contact details that we have for this MP. All right, so I'm going to go back to the home page for the PMG website. Right, the next tab, sorry. Is bills, which I guess is very relevant for what is happening today. So I'm going to current bills. Current bills just refers to bills that are still before Parliament at the moment. All right, I'm just gonna search children. Just to illustrate what has happened. So not much has happened in terms of this bill that is interesting, but you can see certain things. One, this bill has been classified as a Section 76 bill. So that's important, and probably it will come up in your discussion the next time around, because there'll be more opportunities to actually participate
Lucy, would you like to continue perhaps? I think Rashaad's PC has frozen.
So I think Rashaad was at the point of saying that because this bill has been classified as what is called a Section 76 bill, it means that the Parliament has decided that it affects the whole nation in terms of the government, but it also affects the provinces. And what that means in terms of opportunities to participate for youth is that there will be hearings, so people will get the opportunity to make written submissions and to come and speak to the National Parliament in Cape Town, but that it will also be discussed by each of the provincial legislatures. So you will also, in addition to getting the opportunity to have a say in Cape Town at the National Parliament, you will also be able to go and speak to the members of Parliament in your local provincial legislature. And I've posted the link to the PMG website in the chat. And it's where you can find out all the latest updates of what's happening with the Children's Amendment Bill. So as you saw on that line, you could see that it had been introduced, put on the table in Parliament, and it's been referred to the Committee on Social Development. When you want to find out if anything has changed, if Parliament's talked about it, if they've issued the notice to say that they want comments, you look on the PMG website and it will tell you exactly what status the bill is at, which committee in Parliament or which House of Parliament is dealing with it, and they'll also outline all of the opportunities there are to be able to engage. So that's your go-to when you want to find out information about what's happening to the bill. And you saw in the People's Assembly that you can also find out information about the individual MPs. So when we go to Parliament as the Children's Institute, we often find that if we follow the debates, if we follow what's been said in Parliament, that one particular MP has an interest in a particular topic. So the Commissioner spoke earlier about the changes to the criminal law when they introduced the Sexual Offences Amendment Act. And at that time, we had certain MPs who would listen to us when we said, oh, you have to change the definition of rape, or you have to think about changing the law to make it more equal. And we would be able to find the details of those MPs and speak to them individually in their own time by using that People's Assembly website. So you can find out all the information about the bill and all the information you need about the individual members of Parliament through the PMG website.
Thank you very much, Lucy and Rasheed, for the presentation. I am going to give the participants an opportunity to ask questions. If there are no questions, we can move to the next speaker. And if we still have time, we can still address the questions. Do we have any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about this website. Where is it? Does it have any like this information within the website? Is it advertised somewhere else, and other platforms? And upon this information, is it shown to the youth? And where platforms have you used to showcase and advertise this website so that the youth may be engaged and also know more about Parliament and the discussions there, which also involve them?
So
Thank you.
if you see in the chat, and we will send this out on the WhatsApp and social media groups, I've pasted in the links to the PMG website. They've also got a document that has all that information about the Parliamentary Monitoring Group. I've just sent that out on the WhatsApp group, and there's also in the chat, you'll see there's some information about an organisation called the Civics Academy. And on the Civics Academy, they have videos and podcasts that explain in detail how the different pieces of government work. So there's information about the executive. So those are your departments like the Presidency, the Department of Social Development, the Department of Health, the Department of Basic Education. There's also information about Parliament and the different legislatures. There's information about local government. There's information about the justice system, the Constitution, and human rights. So there's lots of information on that website. Again, it's called the Civics Academy, that is actually aimed at children and young people to help them learn about their own rights as citizens and about how government works. So again, we will make sure that all of these resources are shared, not just in the chat, but on the WhatsApp with the youth coordinators and the different organizations that are involved with putting this event together. And we'll also put up a special page on the Children's Institute website that puts all of that information out for you to access at any time.
Thank you very much for the response, Lucy.
Hi, I was just going to say apologies for the connection issues. Yeah, I'm back. I believe Lucy concluded the presentation. Thank you very much. Yeah, if there's any burning question for me specifically, I'm happy to answer. Thank you.